Hey everyone, it's Izzy Eze,
along with Tembi, and welcome to Somewhat Grown,
a podcast about adulting from two 30-somethings just figuring it out
and embracing the process. Hello, welcome back to Somewhat Grown.
Hi everyone.
Hi everyone.
Yes, we are joined by a special guest today, and I think this is always going to be an intriguing topic for everyone when we talk about the topic of dating. And we thought, who better to bring into the episode than a dating success story with Izzy's very own fiance, Chima. Welcome.
Not the awkward wave. I'm so tense.
Hi everyone, how are you?
Do you have anything to say?
Oh, just happy to be here.
Nice.
Looking forward to it.
Cool. Happy to have you here. Yeah, so we're talking about dating in 2025, or I guess just in general in this age. We're all in our 30s. And yeah, we're just going to reflect on that alongside of hearing more of your journey. But before we get into that, I will get the random word of the day, which we will kick off from in talking about dating. So are you guys ready?
We are ready.
Okay. The word is swing.
I don't know if I want to say the example. I'm not sure I want to say the example that comes to mind for me when I think of online dating or dating and swing. So I'm going to try and find another way to relate the topic. But anything come to mind for you yet, Tembi?
Yeah, only because I recently was looking at that, that gif of like, I think it's like a young boy, he's like swinging, like happily in his own world, but behind him there's like, the world is on fire. Do you know that gif?
Yeah,
that meme? And yeah, I don't know. That's the image that came in my head. And when I relate it to dating, I guess sometimes maybe you have to have that mindset when you go into dating, because it can feel a bit like, the world's on
The
fire.
ghetto, like actually, like really,
Yeah. And I guess to put yourself out there within that context, sometimes you have to be a bit like, you have to have that little hopeless romantic in you still alive in order to go back out there. So yeah, I think
I like it. I think the only way that it's loose, it's like a loose connection, but I guess I'm likening swing to kind of like swinging back around again, almost like a kind of a boomerang, if that makes sense. Because I'm thinking, yeah, like we've kind of said, dating is a minefield. Online dating is a minefield everywhere. It's a minefield. But like you have to keep on picking yourself up. I mean, if should you choose to, and kind of swing back around. Like I know I had like a love-hate relationship with dating apps, and I was like off and on, off and on, off and on. But I guess I just kept swinging back. So yeah, that's kind of how I would compare it. Yeah. Any thoughts?
About swing?
Yeah, how swing relates.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a fair thing to say. It's something that it can be going right or wrong, and when it's going wrong, you don't even want to be involved with it. But then, yeah, like you say, you swing back round and try to see again if it will actually be, more successful this time. So I guess there's that constant sort of let me see again and see how things go. So yeah, that's probably what comes to my head.
Maybe we're all just hopeless romantics coming back again, but let me not digress.
Well, you have to be, right? You have to be, because how else can you be open to finding someone, right?
True.
But do you want, I guess going from that, do you guys want to speak on where were you individually when you first connected. How did you connect?
Oh my
And
gosh.
um, yeah, to where you are now.
This is crazy. This is suddenly exposing. I'm suddenly like I'm already can share this.
As much as
Um
you want to share.
but yeah, I guess kind of you said where was I?
Yeah,
Mentally.
both of you individually at the point of
Mm.
approaching dating when you guys connected. And yeah,
Oh.
how did you guys connect for those who don't know?
Okay, so we connected on Hinge. We met on Hinge, and yeah, I mean, I don't. It's so hard to kind of make the story short, if
Yeah,
that makes sense. But
yeah,
I guess where I was mentally was I think I had been on Hinge for a few years, but like off and on, as I was kind of mentioning. At the point where Chima kind of liked me or liked me back, I should say. Uh, I guess I wasn't really using it. It was just there, if that makes sense. I think I was kind of tired of actively being on it. But I also didn't want to bring myself to take it off because I was also like, even if I'm not actively searching, someone else could be actively searching.
Mm.
Um, so yeah, I just saw that he liked me back, and I was just like, I don't remember when I liked him. Like it was so long before he liked me back. Why? I don't know why he kept me on red, but you know what I'm saying. Hopefully,
I didn't see.
okay, he didn't see me.
I didn't see. Otherwise, I would have liked it sooner.
Oh well,
Oh, that's the right answer.
literally. But yeah, I guess yeah. Where were you? If you didn't see it, I guess like kind of
Yeah,
maybe talk about
yeah.
yeah where you were mentally. I
I,
guess.
I think I was a bit like, wow, the staying it's not easy at all.
Mm,
Mm,
So I think I was definitely there. Just based on the kind of success or lack thereof, I should say, that you're
mm,
getting. So it was just like, yeah, it was pretty much I think in that space, and I think even when I'd seen um, her after coming back to the app and actually taking it a bit more seriously,
mm,
yeah, I don't think it wasn't quick. It was probably like a couple of months, but I
mm,
wasn't really using the app like that. So
mm,
I think that yeah, I definitely had to swing back round. You know,
mhm,
so yeah, I think that that's pretty much me
mm.
getting into you know um, meeting her.
mm.
That's where I was. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think what you're saying as well, I feel like is a nice, healthy balance to have when you go on dating apps because
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you go thinking, okay, like I'm ready to date. Let's
Oh
meet
my
some
gosh.
good people. And then you end up being disappointed sometimes. But I think
Sure.
there's like a healthy balance to like come to it open, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe not expecting a lot. And then you are pleasantly surprised, which it sounds like
yeah.
was maybe your case.
I
Um,
hear that, but me, I was expecting a lot too
Hmm.
because I don't know. I feel like I'm somebody that like, ugh, unless I see the end result, I'm not really putting myself in it, which has its perks and it also has its disadvantages. Um, so I think when I was on it, when I eventually got over the fear of being on dating apps in the first place, because that took some years. I was like, right, I'm just gonna be out there and I'm gonna be intentional. I'm gonna like have the best profile that can really highlight the type of person I am and different aspects of me. And you got videos there, you got voice notes there, you got photographs and everything. You got humor, and I was like, yeah, why not? But then I guess yeah, speaking to what you were saying, it's like as much as you might have that desire,
mm,
you have a lot of experiences that kind of maybe put you off. So
yeah.
yeah, I think I was definitely at that point where I was like, if it happens here, then it happens here. If it doesn't, it doesn't. It is what it is.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I guess it was.
Yeah.
And here we
you know,
are. How
which
long
is
is it?
cool.
Like a year and a half later?
Yeah, year and a half.
Yeah,
Yeah,
just coming up to that. Yeah,
yeah. In a couple of
2 weeks.
yeah,
Yeah,
in about 2 weeks. In
yeah,
about 2 weeks will be a year and a half.
yeah.
Um, yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I think what I would say is that um I like I said about intentionality, I really do appreciate intentionality. I think
Mm,
one thing about you is that I really liked was that like, within a few hours of speaking, he's already set the date for, for us to go out, and I'm like, okay, this is different. So
That's good.
I might stick around. You know what I mean?
Can I just ask one thing in follow up to that?
Yes. Yeah.
I love that intentionality. I'm with you on that as well. And I'm
Mm.
curious for you, Chima, in that moment when you guys were in that date and you're like a couple hours in, did you know, at what point did you know like you definitely wanted to go on another date and that you wanted to say it then?
That's a good question.
I think that to be honest with you, I knew even before the date. I felt very hopeful because I think even on our first conversation that we even had on the phone,
Mm.
it's like
Hmm.
we ended up speaking for like 7 hours,
Yeah, that's
and
crazy.
That was before the first date, right?
before
Yeah.
the first date, this was
Yeah.
literally the first conversation we ever had on the phone, and it was just like it could have just gone on and on. The
But
only
my
reason,
battery died.
yeah, honestly. So I think that when something like that happens, it's just like it's almost just like wow, this person really there's really something there
Mm.
between you potentially, and then it's
Mm-hmm.
just like let's go on a date to confirm that or
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm,
see. And yeah, it
Mm.
was pretty much the confirmation. So
Mm.
mm,
it was already very very hopeful. And then yeah,
mm,
after that day, it was just like yeah, this is it. And it's just like yeah, from that point forward, you just kind of move forward with like that goal in mind to have a good
Mm.
interaction and then hopefully relationship and then who
mm,
knows
mm,
next.
Mm.
Well, I
mm.
guess we know, but
I mean, we're here. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
So
I love that. Yeah.
Mm.
I think also like you're saying about like your experience, obviously experiences teaches us
yeah,
on
Mm.
how to be with dating and like what how to manage expectations and I guess what to look for to know like you're saying Chima like this is it.
Mm.
And
Mm.
um yeah, I definitely feel like something I've noticed over the years is actually you do know quite early on, at least if you know how to trust like your instincts kind of thing and you're grounded,
Mm.
you do get a good sense quite early on, which again
Mm.
like you guys are like testament to that, from the
Mm.
very first phone call, like that
Yeah.
is a story you don't hear very often, that you speak for a whole 7 hours.
Honestly, I was like me. I spoke for 7. I literally remember I was sitting with my mom in the living room, and I was just like, "Oh, I'm just gonna get on this call. I'll be right back." And then, like, next thing, it was the next day. So obviously, she's she's asking me like, "What happened?" I'm like, "Just got off a call with a guy that's we spoke for 7 hours." I was very confused, to be honest. You know, I think I think my approach is definitely very cautious, but also intrigued. Um,
Mm,
Whereas I feel like you were maybe more like, yeah, wow, this is amazing. I thought it was amazing, but I was also like, I don't know. Like, I don't know. I think maybe that's just experience making me feel like, no, surely not, you know?
yeah,
Um, but at the same time, understanding that, yeah, I stayed on the phone for 7 hours and I found this person
that's
very
so,
interesting, you
that's
know?
very romantic.
Yeah, yeah, I know it's crazy.
yeah,
um, and then like actually looking forward to the date, and it basically going on till the next day. Like the next day was like, "Do you want to go for breakfast?" I'm just like, "Bro, go home, dude." Literally, like not expecting like a first date. You don't like go home with the guy like because it went on for so long. Ubers were expensive. I was like, you know what, whatever, stay here on the couch, I'll see you in the morning. Not really sleeping, catching up, it just basically felt like the day was rolling over.
Yeah.
um it's funny because I actually had to meet you the next day, and it was like, oh, do you want to go for breakfast? I'm like, I gotta go see my friend, dude, like, also you're still a stranger, kind of thing. But yeah, it was very very different, I would say. So yeah, that made me stick around, I would say. What made you not leave?
Why you ask that?
I
I
mean,
was,
I'm curious. So.
I was having a good time.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was having a good time,
yeah,
and the same thing even then is
yeah,
the same thing now. Just always
mm,
love to be in your company.
yeah,
Uh, it's never boring.
yeah.
It's
That's true.
always a good time.
Mm,
Always a lot of funny moments and
mm,
interesting moments, and
mm,
yeah, it's the same uh, even then as it
mm,
is now. So
mm,
I
true.
think. pretty much, like that was it.
Fair,
Just enjoying myself. So
fair enough.
Maybe there's a lot to talk about, so that's always a good sign.
Definitely,
yeah,
definitely. But yeah.
Aw. What were differences that you guys have noticed between, like, I guess, dating in your 20s and 30s? Because we've all kind of said, like,
Mm,
or you guys have talked about how it was different when you guys spoke. Like, it felt different, even from the points of having those phone calls. And
yeah.
I'm curious about, like, what differences have you guys noticed? Have you preferred dating in your 30s with more of that wisdom, even though it comes with a little bit of pain, or
Mm,
your 20s? And I'm thinking about a conversation I was having with a friend actually in the week, and
mm,
they were saying how dating your 20s, I mean, dating in your 30s is less of an exciting and passionate experience than in your 20s. Like, the years have kind of just like killed the
that's
wild
so
spirit
funny.
of like romance.
That
It's
is
still
so
there, but
funny.
it's not as exciting.
Mm.
Um, and in
Do you
some
agree with
ways,
that? How do you feel about that? Yeah. Do you agree?
yeah, I think I would say it feels more grounded. Like,
Mm, mm-hmm.
I think that yes, I agree in some ways the magic, if you want to call it the magic, or the sparks or the excitement of it, is
Mm-hmm.
not the same. But for
Mm-hmm.
me, I feel like in a way that's a good thing, because I feel like the excitement can allow you to get carried away sometimes, and maybe you're less discerning about the interaction
Mm-hmm.
you're having with the person. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's been my experience. And versus 30s, I
Wow.
feel like where I have been on dates and gotten to know people, I'm paying attention to how they are and the things that they say, and not, taking them for granted and taking them as information that, okay,
Mm-hmm.
this is building a picture of who you are as a person. And sometimes that picture has a lot of question marks, sometimes it's good. And I think for me anyways, I definitely feel like I prefer having the wisdom, because
Okay.
it just feels more grounding, and I do like that, I would say.
Mm.
Yeah, what about you
Wow.
guys?
What about you?
so I think that like dating, I, I guess older, like with more experience, versus when you're younger.
Mm.
Yeah, it's definitely a lot more of a you have a lot more wisdom and the experience. In my opinion, the experience definitely does help because I think that wisdom is the age experiences is the best teacher. So
Yeah.
I think that all
Mm.
those things that you kind of have gone through, they all kind of lead to being a very very like wise person with more discernment than you had like
Mm.
before you had those experiences. So
That's true.
I think it's definitely is something that is a lot more of a I wouldn't say easier experience older, but I think it's something that you're probably gonna have a lot more kind of success just because of the fact that you can tell pretty much early on, oh, like this is not something that you can work with, or this is something that you can work with, and
Mm-hmm.
be guided by those sort of principles. So
Mm.
yeah, definitely, I think it's true that
Yeah.
Yeah.
it definitely does help.
Yeah. I I think I agree. Yeah. I think I agree. I prefer. I think I don't know. I'm not sure because I feel like I'm just 31. I just turned 31. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think that the 20s, yeah, the 20s felt reckless, to be honest. I think even even though maybe I came across as mature, I think I was still very naive at the same time, or just inexperienced, um, and not necessarily understanding that like the way that I reason or the things that I believe in is not what everyone believes in. It sounds silly, but it's kind of like even down to the very foundations of what it means to date, what it means to kind
Mm.
of like respect another person, what it means to like lots of people have different perceptions of dating and all sorts of things. So my mistake was thinking that yeah, everyone thinks the same way, so I'm safe in this this place, I'm safe in this relationship, I'm safe in this situation, you know.
mm,
um but also not being able to kind of trust my own instincts as well. Like I think that's definitely something that I have learned to do over time through experience, to trust my own instincts.
mm,
Like normally that first thought is probably, you're probably right about it, and maybe you shouldn't do that, and maybe you should say this, and you know,
mm,
and the 20s is just sort of like your, maybe our emotions were ahead of us, like leading us, whereas now our emotions are behind us, are behind our reason perhaps.
mm,
um and I think that's okay. I think it's good to reason. I think it's good to know what you want. Um, and to also have the romance attached to it. Like, you know, I don't think romance is dead. I think we definitely still are quite romantic and stuff. And like, even how we met, you know, even though it was Hinge, I'm really happy that it was like a really fun way of meeting on Hinge. I don't know, like,
Yeah.
and our families ending up kind of knowing each other through mutual friends, like all these kind of really special romantic things that kind of came about, you know?
Mm.
mm.
So yeah, I think romance is not dead, but maybe romance isn't as, maybe it's not as reckless in the 30s. Maybe I'll say it like that, perhaps. Yeah, that's what I
Yeah.
think.
At least you'd hope it's not. I,
Yeah, you hope
Yeah.
it's not. You hope it's not.
Yeah.
Mm.
I was gonna ask, like, what's one thing that you feel like you learned from something that you learned that you took into your experience and added to your wisdom, Chima, about like dating.
Mm.
So I think that is a pretty um, easy answer for me. It's definitely my relationship with God, uh,
Mm,
and just my faith, because I think, you know, maybe prior to, before I had met Isabel, uh, I was, you know, definitely raised in a faith background, Anglican. My family were Anglican Christian, but I don't really, I hadn't really fully embraced it myself. You know,
mm,
maybe when I was younger, up until teenager years, but I think
mm,
after that, not as much. But
Mm.
I think I definitely learned that through my experiences in my 20s, that what was the missing component
mm,
throughout all the things, situations I was ever in, and you know, in dating, outside of dating, just in general, in terms of how I was kind of leading my life. So for me personally, what was that missing component? And
mm,
I think I began to realize that, yeah, it was definitely that active relationship with God. I really believed it was something that was going to be that missing component, and I think it has been tenfold for me. You know, and yeah, it's definitely something that allowed me to, you know, not just uh, go and worship, but actually, how can I apply the principles to my life, to every aspect of my life, and even the interactions I have with people on a daily basis. And yeah, I think that that's probably been the number one thing that
Mm.
has sort of guided me, and the wisdom I gained
yeah,
uh, as I've kind of gotten older,
Mm.
you know,
yeah.
throughout my 20s.
And I love that as well because I know with Izzy that was, if it's okay to say, like a bit of a sticking point where that is something she also looks for in terms of
Mm.
someone who is a Christian and
Mm.
practices it in a way that aligns with how you practice it. And this kind of
Mm.
ties into my question on like, is it better to be more or less picky? Because I mean, you guys can
Mm.
speak
What a question.
Mhm.
to you guys
What a
can speak to how dating already is a challenge, but then when you also want to have someone who shares the same worldviews as you, and
Yeah.
that's an important part of your life and the way you live on
Mm.
a day to day. Like you're saying, Chima,
Mm.
like that adds a whole other element to it that means that people can get disqualified. So yeah,
Gosh.
does it help to have that those added things like being a Christian? Is it better
Yeah.
to be more or less picky? Do you think?
You know, boy, it could be such a controversial question, you know.
Mm,
But I think it's important to know what you want. If you want a future with somebody, I think it's important to kind of know what your deal breakers are, and be realistic about them as well. It's not just like, oh, he brushes his teeth in a weird way or whatever. Like what's your reason for your deal breaker, and actually kind of unpack that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think for me, like I'm someone who's, I mean, I've been single a long time, like single most of my life. I've only ever been in two relationships, Chima being the second one,
Mm,
and I don't actually have any regrets about that. If that
mm,
makes sense.
mm,
For me, it's just kind of like, yeah, I've got too much to do. Like, there's a lot to be done. There's work, there's life, there's side hustles, music. Like, I'm trying to develop myself, learn a language, So I personally think it's important to know what I want so that it's easy to kind of like move to the next person or not,
mm,
until the right one comes along. Um, Having said that, it's easier said than done because sometimes you just want to be loved. If that makes sense. You just
mm.
want to be appreciated. You just want to have somebody buy you some flowers. You get me? Um, and so yeah, of course, there'll be moments like, especially in the 20s, where it's just like, oh, this person's giving me attention, whatever. Like let me just
Mm,
indulge what. Um, but like yeah, it's ultimately kind of like a distraction, I guess. And like yeah, I would say to myself like, you gotta let this go. I know I have to let this go. I don't really want to do it right now, but maybe next week. Like I guess I had that reason within myself to be like, yeah, you already know what it is, type of thing. Like what we doing here, it's like at some point you're gonna have to let this go, you
yeah.
know um, but for me, I think it helps to be choosy, so long as you know why you're being that way. Because I think like there's a balance. Like I guess a lot of people
Mm,
like say, what does that mean? Because you want to yeah, is it compromise? Like when you're with somebody,
yeah.
you compromise, but then you don't want to compromise to the extent that the things that you value are no longer of importance because you've chosen somebody that doesn't value the same things. So
Mm,
how do you find that balance?
mm.
um yeah, what do you think though?
Yeah, I think that links to like what I was gonna like kind of ask next about like
mm,
what are linking back to like online dating as well. Um,
mm.
like what are like profile red flags or green flags that you just know if you see this, it's gonna probably be good. If you see this, it's either gonna go left. I'm really
Oh
curious.
my
And
gosh.
were there any like what were the green flags you guys saw in each other? Like for me, I can start. I think
Yes.
definitely if someone doesn't like, I was quite picky about someone who likes to read because
mm,
I like to read a lot, and it's nice to be able to share that and like talk
mm,
about it. Uh,
mm-hmm.
Also, I feel like if someone had a picture, a topless picture would probably put me off. I'm not gonna
I
lie.
was gonna say the same thing. I was just about to say that if you have a topless picture of it, I'm not interested. I don't know what it is. I'm just not interested. It just feels like the context is wrong. I don't know. If you're on the beach, if you're I like, listen, if you're on Instagram, you want to take a shirt off, like, cool, whatever, do you? But like for Hinge, I don't know. It's just like, look at my body. I don't know, man. Like,
I'm
that's my
yeah,
thing.
I'm just like that. I'm being judgy, but you kind of have to be. But
I'm being judgy too. That's
I'm
okay.
not a serious person. I just don't think. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Hmm.
Um, yeah. What about you, Chima?
Some of
It's
my
like silent.
red flags or green flag.
Yeah, either.
I've I think green flag definitely is, yeah, that relationship with God or love of God definitely
Like
is,
having it on the profile.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I think
Did you
that's
say that? What did you say on your profile, Izzy?
Oh, girl, which version? You know what I mean? Like, there are so many things I said on that. But I think at the point that I was speaking to Chima, it probably was. I mean, I don't know if you
yeah,
remember, but I think I just
yeah.
said, "What's a non-negotiable? A relationship with God, and actively goes to church." But sometimes even
Mm.
that's not enough. I'm just saying,
Hmm.
because you might still have somebody that has a different view to you, and that's okay. But I think yeah, I was just like, yeah, relationship with God and goes to church like I do. If not, we keep it pushing.
Yeah.
You know.
No,
That was
I think
pretty.
that's when I sent the voice note to you about that. So
Yeah,
I was,
I was gonna answer
yeah.
that. Like in terms of red and green flags, at this point, I mean, I have the obvious ones, like the topless ones, um, and I think I also have the ones where it's just like immediately flirting. I don't know, like I'm like, dude, can I just get to know you a bit? Like, have you got humor? Have you got, if you're leading with only flirting, I'm like, do you not have a personality? Like what interests you? That's for me. And I think it's because I always wanted to have a friend, like first, a best friend first, and thank God I have it. And
Mm,
so for me, like that was off putting to not have like a kind of, not, I don't want to say serious conversation, but interesting conversation where it doesn't have to be about, obviously we're attracted to each other. That's why we like the profile, so
yeah,
let's talk about something else.
yeah.
But then on the flip side, I think, I would also say, I don't know, because I didn't think that I would like Chuma because his profile didn't allude to him being the guy that he is,
Hmm.
respectfully. I was like, oh, this is a good looking guy, but oh, he's definitely an F boy. Because I was just like, had all of these model, what I mean? You had like like he had
Yeah,
model pictures, like posing suits, like no topless ones, but just looking
right.
a bit too polished. I was like, I don't know, And then you didn't have your name on your. It's like BC. I'm like, who's a BC? Like you can't even say your name.
Mysterious.
Can't be. That would have been a red flag for me. Like if you can't even put your name on the profile, and
Yeah.
then here we are. So that's kind of also why I say you have to be careful with those kind of deal breakers, red flags. Like sometimes give it a second, let it marinate, you know. And then he just shocks me with the voice note talking about like, what's your relationship with God like? I pray, I go to church and all this type of stuff. I'm like, what is happening here? That
Mm,
your profile did not allude to that kind of thing.
mm,
Um, and yeah, just a pleasant surprise, basically. Yeah.
mm.
Do you have any more kind of like green flags other than like the reading and stuff?
I think similarly, like if someone can have a meaningful conversation, I
Mm,
want to know what you care about. I want
yeah.
to know what are passionate about. And I think
Mm,
if we can have like in-depth conversations about those things, then that's
mm,
like a very easy green flag for me. And also, I
mm,
think if someone seems like they have interests, like if
yeah.
looks like they have like a well-rounded life and
Mm-hmm,
they're obviously out and dating, but they also like to do activities that they enjoy and things like that.
mm-hmm,
I think those things are definitely also, yeah,
mm.
it would make me look into a profile more.
Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think that also helps for you. I mean, if I can say, because you're also somebody with an life, active life, full stop,
Mm,
And so I sometimes wonder how it would be, if somebody didn't have as much of an active life. I don't know, maybe like it's like chalk and cheese and maybe it works somehow. But I
mm,
just sometimes think if I'm somebody with an active life and the other person is more laid back and like doesn't really do much or doesn't really like have extracurricular stuff, would they kind of feel, I guess, annoyed or, about, I don't know, like the other person doing all these things?
mm.
Maybe it's not necessarily what they want. Equally, maybe the person likes that about them. I don't know. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and also like, or that's kind of the thing that they then latch onto. Like I had a friend,
Yeah.
it felt like the guy was putting her on a pedestal because she had all these things going on, and you don't
Mm,
want that. It's great if they appreciate that you are the way you are, but
mm-hmm.
you don't want to feel like you're on a pedestal, that you guys aren't even and able to both
Exactly.
appreciate what you each bring. And I
Mm-hmm.
yeah, so I think it's also important for that, like, so we are
Mm-hmm.
coming into it equally and we both have
Mm-hmm.
the things about each other for sure.
But you can
Yeah.
say something.
uh, no, I agree. Yeah,
Okay, cool.
definitely. I think it's good to have that sort of equal sort of footing in those things because at least you know there's interesting things about each other and
Mm-hmm.
things that you can teach each other
Mm-hmm.
and learn from each other about as well. I think
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm.
really important too.
Mm.
Mhm.
Keep it interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Are there any like, what do we think about? I mean, obviously, you guys are a success story.
Mhm.
Engaged, met on Hinge, and
Yeah.
also like I can speak from being Izzy's friend from a lot for a long time. I think I've said this to you, Izzy, but also just seeing how um I don't know, at peace and also just more herself she
Mm.
has been, I think, and just like yeah, it's a very good sign when a new person comes into your friend's life and they are just like an even fuller version of themselves, you know?
Mm.
Mhm.
And I think that that's testament to the relationship you guys had, which is so beautiful to witness, actually. And
Oh.
I think, yeah, it is. Yeah, it is just beautiful to witness. Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Thank
Thank you, girl.
thank
Yeah.
you.
So yeah. But you know, do we think the odds are stacked against people in general when it comes to dating? What do you think online dating is still relevant? What advice would you guys offer
It
to
just
people
feels
who
so,
are
yeah, you know what I mean? Imagine I'm like, oh
Mhm.
man, online dating don't work,
Yeah,
right? It just
but also like, you know, how do you know when you know?
yeah.
And I don't and I think yeah, we can all kind of speak to that, but yeah.
Mm, what do you think?
I think that it, like just based on like how it's been for me, I think it would be great. It would be madness for me to
Mm,
say it can't work. I think it definitely can work. I think it's something that I think it's just like what's the thing they're always talking about now? AI. It's just like a tool. All these things they're
mm,
just basically tools, aren't they?
mm,
And
true.
it really depends on how you use that tool
Mm,
and how intentional you are, how intentional people you come across are,
mm,
and like I think putting yourself in spaces with the people who actually kind of like relate to who you are as a person. I
Hmm.
think I think there's every opportunity that uh, because I think that people want to be loved. People
mm,
want relationships. I think I don't think it might not be easy, but I think deep down that's what everybody wants, and I think that
mhm,
it's just about using that tool in the best possible way and the most kind of like I don't want to say strategic, but
mm,
like using it in ways that uh, can put you across people who align with you in areas that are going to be very important to you and
mm,
fundamental for you in a
mhm,
relationship, in a marriage,
mhm,
in a family as well. It's just
mhm,
like,
Yeah.
what do you want your family to have? What kind of values do you want your family to have? And do are you meeting the people that embody that through the tool that you have? So
mm.
Yeah.
I
yeah.
like that. I feel like I have an issue with Hinge because like in terms of talking about dating app as a tool, Hinge
Mhm.
knows the type of people you like. You know what I'm saying? Like that row section that has all the people that you're interested in is quite interesting to me because why are they not in the main profile? The main section. They just want you to pay money. You
Mhm.
know,
Mhm.
and I feel like it really depends. I think it's a waiting game. It's a long game that you play. You can either pay to essentially see the people that you're more likely to match with sooner, or you can wait for them to roll around after a couple of months on your main profile, your main section.
Yeah.
Um, and I think I'm trying to remember the question, but ultimately, I feel like online dating works, but there's just so many factors that are at play. Like when you're ready to date the person that might be right for you might not be ready to date. Like I said, like I liked his profile maybe 5 months before I don't even think I said the months, like 5 months before he responded. And
Mhm.
to the extent that I forgot and like left it alone. But what would have happened if I was saying to you yesterday, I think, what would have happened if like I just wasn't even on Hinge either? So he comes back, likes me back, and I'm not even on it, you know. That's the end of that. Do you know what I mean? So I think a lot of it is about timing. For me, I think it's God's timing. And I think a lot of it is also like not losing hope,
Mm,
because as much as you might be tired of kind of searching, there might still be somebody out there searching for you. Does that make sense? And whether that is like online or whether that is in person, just be open, I would say. And so I guess my way of being open was just uh not deleting the profile. Like I'm not out here searching every day like this is a library, but I'm also not going to delete it. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
And how does that look in person? Like maybe don't shun every guy that comes towards you. Like I get it. Like, of course, you might have experiences where guys are not respectful. They don't treat you in the right way. But it if you shut people down, and the same with women, like women and men and women, if you shut people down immediately, you might not get the opportunity of getting to know who they really are, I think. So yeah.
100%. Yeah,
Yeah.
I think I agree with both of you. Like, it's about, if you do want to date, being intentional about, I guess, increasing your opportunities to meet the right person, but doing it intentionally, which I do agree with.
Mm.
I feel like when it comes to online dating, you're right. Like, there's issues with like Hinge because they definitely do know what they're doing.
They know your type. Like you just want me to pay money? That's rude. That's rude.
And I think I don't know if I read it somewhere. Someone said how sometimes they kind of capitalize on having a certain amount of women, and so they'll make it harder for like one of the groups to like find their match, so they stay on the app longer,
No.
things like that. And
Oh
so I
no.
that kind of put me off, and so I went to like Bumble again because I was like,
Mm-hmm.
"Okay, let me try that," because I don't know what's going on in Hinge. And that was
Mm.
interesting. But then also Breeze was a new one that I came across this year where you
You
go,
gotta talk about Breeze.
yeah,
Yeah.
can I talk about it?
Talk about it because I didn't know about it until you told me. You know what I'm saying? Talk about Breeze, please.
Yeah, a friend of mine told me about it, so I trialed it earlier this year. The idea of it is basically you match and you go straight to meeting. There's no chat function.
Oh
Um,
my gosh.
it's only open like an hour before the date in case plans change or things like that. But the
Mm.
idea is that it is supposed to be for more intentional daters because you also are limited on the amount of people you can swipe on. Like you get like seven
What
a day.
the heck?
Yeah. So you have to, you actually are forced to be picky. You know, you're like, okay, if I match with this person, like I actually have to want to meet them. We're not going to be chatting.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to be wasting time exchanging
Mm-hmm.
pleasantries. I actually
Mm-hmm.
have to be ready to commit my time to go
Yeah.
and meet them. And I do think that that's a really good concept, actually. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I met some interesting people on there. Nothing that's kind of gone anywhere, but I
Mm-hmm.
did like that concept personally, and I think it does align
Mm.
with being quite intentional.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah,
How do we feel about, you know what? No, I was gonna say like, should we compare sort of online dating to kind of dating in person? Like, is there a do we have a preference? But I don't necessarily know if it should be compared. I just think we're in the age of we're in a digital age, so the same things you can expect in person are the same things you can expect online. But I don't know. I just feel. I mean, there are still a lot of people that are not on dating apps.
yeah.
Um.
Sorry to jump in, and also people who are like consciously moving, like intentionally moving away from it. Like you mentioned,
Yes.
is it board of dating apps, that Instagram
Mm,
page. There's a lot of like social meetups as well, like a chess club
mm, mm-hmm,
in Brixton that's like popping off, but also I think is a
mm-hmm,
space where people can meet. I went
mm-hmm,
on, this was for meeting friends, but I think some
mm-hmm.
people could meet a person there. But I went on, it's called Time Left, where you go for dinner with strangers.
Oh,
You just,
something like that on Instagram, like an
yeah,
advert for it.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I
Oh,
did that as well. That was an
you
interesting
did it.
routine.
How was it? Was it good?
It was interesting. No, you know what?
Yeah.
It was good. I think the one thing that I think they missed a trick on is
Mm.
I wish it was intergenerational, because for
Ah.
me, the idea of meeting going for dinner with strangers, I would enjoy it more if there's people from different ages
Mm-hmm.
who can just
Mm-hmm.
share life experiences. Just we talk, Whereas
Yeah.
with that, everyone was in the same age bracket, and they do that on purpose, which I guess makes sense as well if you want to socialize. But I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, the way I approach something like that is I actually just want to hear interesting stories about life.
Right.
So
Right.
I think for me, that's why I was like, yeah. But if you, it could maybe be a good way to meet someone today as well.
Gosh.
Yeah.
So why are people moving away from dating apps? Is it because they are looking for something more intentional? That could be it, to be
Tired,
honest.
'cause we're
You say,
tired.
well, we're tired.
We're tired. It's not.
Gosh. Oh
I don't know.
no.
I mean, obviously it can work, but
Yeah.
it is also tiring. Like
Mm-hmm.
it does feel like work. Like you have to be swiping in order to get anywhere, and
Mm-hmm.
you have to also be patient. I think like you obviously
Mm-hmm.
also I think demonstrated it does also take being patient, and
Mm-hmm.
maybe that's the hack. It's like
Mm-hmm.
be open, but also be patient.
Be out here at the same
Yeah,
time. Don't you
yeah,
think?
exactly.
Mm.
I think that it's interesting because it's not even just like dating apps. It's like social media and just how we are with our phones now.
Mm.
It's just like it's almost like they're supposed to make you more social because they're called social media, but
Mm,
you become quite antisocial while you're in them in your own
yeah.
kind of world, your own sort of
Mm.
space. And I definitely think that maybe people are trying to regain that sense of, oh,
Mm,
let me go and talk to somebody randomly in the
mm,
street or at a bar. I mean, I hear that guys don't really approach women just
heard that as
out
well.
and about in the streets or
Mm.
at bars. Or so it's funny because yeah, it does feel like people are trying to move away from these apps, but at the same time it's like, is there something that's been lost, like as
Mm-hmm.
they've come around? And
Yeah.
has it been for the better or the worse overall? I guess it's something we're
Mm,
still trying to all figure out. So
That is a
that's
big question.
true. Because when you speak about like, yeah, it is a tool and it has gotten us somewhere and it has led to some beautiful success stories. But
Mm.
also, in some ways it's kind of replicated the same thing about social media where it can sometimes feel like a disconnect. And I do
Mm.
agree, like actually I feel like I would rather meet someone in person now.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Even though I know everyone's on dating apps and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
I would probably rather it just feels more real. And I do actually think what you're saying, Chima, is actually probably part of like what plays into it. It just feels a bit more organic and I kind of miss that. But
Mm.
I say that, but I'm not gonna go up to someone and say hi and stuff.
mhm,
That's the thing, isn't it? That's always the thing, Both people are thinking the same thing. It's just like, I see you looking at me, type of thing, but nobody's gonna do anything about it, and that's it. They're off on their train journey. It's crazy. It's so crazy. I was listening to the wonderful Esther Perel, psychologist and just amazing human. Not that I know her, but she was literally talking about this exact thing, and how people that she counsels all, like, tend to say like the opportunities are not there now. We're so much busier in life, like, and then on dating apps, nobody's intentional because everyone's tired of all the notifications. She's a lot older, and she kind of, I guess, flips it on his head a little bit and says, the opportunities are still there, to be honest, but all it means now is that you kind of have to kind of step out of yourself to make those introductions in a way that you didn't have, in a way that wasn't uncomfortable before. Um,
Mm,
so yeah, it means like actually talking to the person on the train next to you,
mm,
um, or you're, in the lift with somebody and you want to say hi in a way that's not awkward. You're not just talking about the weather. You're actually saying you like their shirt or whatever the case may be. I think my conversation starters always start with some sort of compliment because I don't know how else to do it. You
yeah,
know
yeah,
what I mean? It's just like, I like your hair, girl, or whatever. Cool. What's your name? But to
yeah.
intro it in other ways I find difficult. So yeah, it's like, yeah, if you are somebody that wants to meet somebody in real life, like what are you doing about it to kind of like go against the grain? Unfortunately, we have to be that way because like whenever there's a moment of pause, people are straight to their phones and not
Mm.
interacting with the world around them. Um, and yeah, you just miss a lot. Like imagine someone like amazing walked by you and you didn't know because you're on your phone. It's crazy. Like you didn't see them because you're on your phone. So yeah.
A guy did give me a peach, which I
Oh yeah,
I was
that's right.
walking along the street and without literally without saying one word, he just like reached out and gave me a peach. And then I just took it and then obviously it didn't go anywhere in that case, but
Mm.
it could have been a love story. Who
That's
knows?
true though.
Yeah,
Like peach beginnings,
yeah,
literally. That's
yeah.
crazy. That's actually
Peach
mad.
beginnings. I like that.
Can you imagine?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
We just need to go around handing
yeah,
people fruit. What the heck?
yeah.
That's so random, man.
might be the
You always
flex.
have random stuff like situations. I don't know what it is.
And then
You
I
have
also
welcoming
realized,
face.
like, I went to Greece with some friends, and we had a taxi driver. I forgot my phone in the taxi, so he was bringing it back the next day.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave me my phone back, and I was like, "Oh, thank you." And then he just randomly gave me this like bagel thing,
What?
and again without saying a thing, and I just took it as well.
Yeah, he's just like, listen, at this point, I'll be collecting all the
And
things. What the
so
heck?
who knows? Maybe that's
Wow.
the new way that men are shooting their shot, just like handing out food.
That's funny, man.
Honestly, you're getting a whole weekly shop at this point.
Anything to round off on, I guess, when it comes to dating? Actually, I'm curious to ask this, Chima, because one other thing we talk about is we hear a lot anyways, I should say, is that there are no more good men. And some men also maybe rightfully say there aren't really any more good women.
Yeah.
I wondered if you had any thoughts on that.
So it's funny because I always think that like when I hear that sort of thing, it just feels more like there definitely are good people.
Mm,
I think that it's the attitude that we as individuals have, towards people around us, in the sense of like there definitely are people who are not the best, and we should definitely be on guard for that. But there's also good people, and we should always kind of like have a optimistic approach. I think,
mm,
Mm,
as a man, as a woman, because you know believing that something can't be good, a situation can't be good, a man can't be good, a woman can't be good, it kind of directs your actions to an
mm,
extent,
okay.
because you then become quite, you know, maybe overly defensive, or, you
mm,
know, maybe what a situation needs is that greeting, that man to greet you, but maybe he has like, bad views on how a woman is, and that sort of thing. Whereas if it just said, "Oh hi, I like you're saying, I like your shirt,"
Mm,
that could have started a great conversation. And I think that, like, yeah, there definitely um, are good people out there, but I think the most important thing is to believe that, always believe that. Don't let negative experiences ruin it for, whoever you now kind of meet, in the sense of, you know, still have the optimism that there are
mm,
good people out there, and that, someone that you talk to can be that good person, and great things can definitely happen as a result of that, I think, as well.
mm.
yeah.
So
Can I just add a little to that?
yeah,
I think I agree with you, and I guess maybe playing devil's advocate just a little bit. I think it is hard to, as women anyway. I can only speak for women, to date, especially in your 30s, um, especially if you're looking for something specific. So if you're looking for someone from a particular faith background, like a Christian or a Muslim or however whatever the case may be, if for example you're a very tall girl and you're looking for somebody who's at least your height or even a couple of inches shorter, it kind of takes it like a lot of kind of people out of the running. Um, and
Yeah.
the very real fact that, the older you get, the more you see people around you who are getting married. Like they're actually hooking up with these people. Hooking up sounds like the wrong word, but like getting together with these people, and naturally meaning that, yeah, they're not on the market anymore.
Yeah.
Um, having said that, I also think, something that would encourage me over the years was like, it only takes one guy. It
Mm.
literally only takes one guy. I used to think like, oh, do I need to just like travel across the country and like just do something completely different? Like, who knows? Because maybe you need to switch up your circumstance. Maybe you just need to be patient and work on your own craft, and you might meet somebody in that way. Like, you can meet somebody in any way. You just have to be open. But like, yeah, all it takes is one person. You know what I mean? So even though those odds are stacked against you, I would say, just be aware that all it takes is one person. And I'm not an expert, please, because like literally there's only two relationships that I've ever been in, like I said. And we're still figuring it out, you know what I mean? As much as we're like
Mm.
about to get married, yeah, of course there'll still be things that we discuss, things that we don't agree on, and all sorts of things. I never want to come across like, oh, she's the expert dater, when like just a year and a half ago I was on like Instagram, oh, these men, like, honestly guys, oh, look at this one, you know what I mean? So yeah, that
Yeah.
is kind of what I would say, essentially.
Yeah. And actually, if I can say this as a currently single person who's content in it, but also has a desire to be in a relationship, I
Mm.
think there's something. I was having a conversation with a friend of mine about this, about, life. I don't want to sound really doom and gloom. I really hope it doesn't sound like we're going to end this all positive.
Life sucks.
Yeah, what life doesn't, life, we were saying, like, life doesn't, make us any promises, and
Mm,
we're not necessarily like owed everything. And as much as we
mhm,
all might have a desire for certain things, be it a career, be it a long-term partnership, marriage, and things like that, um obviously not all of us can like have that guaranteed. It's not guaranteed
mhm,
to anyone, any of us. And I just think there's something to be said as well about, um I really hope this doesn't sound negative, and please, guys, let me know if it does. But I think something I've been thinking about is like a level of acceptance alongside of holding that desire is something that
mm,
I feel like I've been at. That's a place where I've been at, and I'm like, you know, I wouldn't want to, settle or anything, and I still want to be intentional about someone I bring into my life if I do. At the same
mm,
time, there are so many amazing people that I know who just didn't find their person. And
mm,
sometimes that is the case for some people. I think Tracy Ellis Ross is like such a great example of this. Obviously, I don't
mm,
know her personally, but she
mhm,
is someone who we all know publicly speaks about living her best life, but she also does talk quite openly about still desiring partnership.
mm,
And
mhm,
I think, that's an example of how it you can search for it, but it doesn't necessarily always come. And I think I do want to speak to that in talking about dating, because it feels
mm,
honest, at least for me, where I'm at now,
mhm,
where I genuinely am like, yeah, like it actually might not happen. And I really hope it doesn't sound doom and gloom, because that's
mhm,
not how I feel about it. But I think it's more, uh, the reality of it, if I can say that.
mm, mhm,
Um, and that doesn't necessarily have to be sad. I don't know how that sits for you guys, but
mm,
like,
mm.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's definitely food for thought, because I agree. I think not everybody will be with somebody,
Mhm.
as we've seen it. We can see that, like I can speak to people with like speak about people within my own kind of circles,
Yeah.
family circles, where that was the case.
Yeah.
Um,
Same.
and yeah, I think that doesn't just speak to relationships; it speaks to life. We might not always get exactly what we want in exactly the way we want it. you know and I think the real question is like, do you enjoy your life? You know what I mean? I don't know. This is like, if that is the main goal, then of course you can end up being very disappointed. You can still want something and desire something, but how do you feel about your life right now,
Mhm. Mhm.
without that relationship? How is your life full without a relationship? Is your life full without that particular career? Is your life full without your dreams being achieved in a way that you wanted it to by a certain age? Like,
Mm.
your life can still be full, you know? And you can still have that desire for something else, you know? Like, you don't want to come across as patronizing, but at the
Mm.
end of the day, like, I'm sure there are many people, now I'm becoming morbid, but I'm sure there's many people that passed away with dreams unfulfilled. I'm just saying, you know, um,
It's the reality.
it's
Yeah.
the reality, and that's life, you know. So, did you live a full life in between that? I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's it. Whatever your life looks like, just as much as you can. I think uh, aim for that contentment in what your situation, because
Mm,
there are always many blessings. There's many blessings in uh, having a career. There's many blessings in being in a relationship, the right one. You
mm.
know, there's many
Well,
blessings in
That
being
part.
single. Yeah, you know, um, but there's always a blessing in our situation if we
mm,
kind of look hard enough at it. There always is a blessing,
yeah.
and I think that, like, ultimately, uh, if relationships happen, I think that the most important thing is that, like you say, it enhances more of who you are as a person,
Mm.
and you know
That's
they
a good
fully
point.
are themselves, and they fully seen very complete. And I think that's the biggest thing, because what you don't want is the opposite. So
Yeah.
Mm,
yeah, I think that's the most important thing.
I love that.
So,
Amen to that. Yeah. I think that's a great note to end on. I don't have anything else to add.
Ooh. Neither do I. Well, thanks everyone for
Yeah.
watching or listening. I really appreciate it.
Yes.
Um, yeah.
And thank you again, Chima, for gracing us, being our special guest, which makes a lot of sense, really, because because this podcast is like, it's almost like a time
It's
capsule,
crazy.
mine
It's
and Izzy's
actually
life. So
crazy.
you had to be on it at some point, to be
It's
honest.
true. It's true. Oh my gosh. We've spoken about guys, spoken about heartbreak, spoken about so many different
All of
things.
it.
It
All
just feels, I mean, don't listen to the old ones.
uh,
Um so now we're here, which is good. Yeah. I'm gonna hide you way after this though, for real. Like, wow. I can't believe this actually happened. Crazy. But yeah.
And also, for people who don't know, Ice and Tunes, follow them on Instagram
Ooh.
and TikTok and
And
YouTube.
TikTok. And YouTube actually. Yeah, I was thinking of putting this on YouTube as well, but yeah, we'll see. But we're most active on Instagram and TikTok. Yeah, Ice and Cheems. We'll probably put it in the description. Thanks, guys. See
very much.
Thank you guys. Catch you next time.
you later. Bye.
But
Thanks again for listening to Somewhat Grown. What should we cover next? Email us at somewhatgrown@gmail.com. We'd love to hear your thoughts. You can also connect with us. On YouTube, search somewhat_grown. On TikTok, find us at somewhat.grown. On Instagram, follow @_somewhatgrown. To follow us personally, find me, Tembi, @Tembi Rain on Instagram and X, and Izzy is @itsizzyeze everywhere. Catch you next time.